In his 80 years of publication, Batman has dealt with a lot. A crazy clown, a frozen man whose wife is kept alive in a tube, a man-bat, and some dude named Darkseid. But let's talk about the time he fought a werewolf. Well, one of the times. Written by Len Wein and drawn by Neil Adams and Dick Giordano, Batman issue 255 begins with a typical night in Gotham City. Janet Bonner, Janet Bonner is getting ready to go to bed, unaware that a werewolf is watching her with an intense hunger that leaves him salivating. But the werewolf is unaware that Batman is also watching him as he gets ready to stop another would-be criminal. As I said, it was a typical night in Gotham City. The werewolf enters Janet's home, ready to attack, but Janet sends her dog to defend her before he can do anything. But then the werewolf grabs her dog and snaps his spine, then tosses it to the ground. Len Wein is definitely a JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fan, because I've never seen a level of dog hatred since a Rocky Gray starts with Danny and Iggy. Batman then bursts through the window, kicking the werewolf in the face. The werewolf was all bark and no bite because instead of fighting back, he grabs Janet and tosses her out of the window as a distraction. Batman immediately leaps through the window, catches Janet, and tosses a grappling hook. Thankfully, it hooks onto a gargoyle and then lands safely. Batman complains about a dislocated arm, but it doesn't really factor into the story, but he's looking very Spider-Man-like in that same panel. Batman meets up with Commissioner Gordon to compare notes. Gordon mentions that Batman's encounter with a Wolfman may be related to a break-in at the Gotham Park Zoo a few weeks ago. Batman agrees, but he wonders if this Wolfman is an actual werewolf and not just some dude in a costume. We don't get real time to ponder it because that line of thought gets answered almost immediately. The werewolf makes his way to the pharmacy and meets with a scientist. He doesn't seem scared of a literal werewolf snarling at him, but that's because he knows that in a couple seconds, he'll transform back into his human form. We learn that the scientist is named Milo and the werewolf goes by Anthony Lupus, because comics. Anthony works in the grocery store, saving his pennies for... Oops, my bad. Anthony's backstory is then revealed, that he was once a rich Olympic decathlon who suffered from bad headaches. Relatable. Every doctor Anthony would meet would just brush him off, and this led Anthony to weirdo doctors with even weirder methods. That's how he ended up being Milo. Milo gave him weird potions and brews, which cured his headaches, but the catch is that at the end of the month, he transformed into a werewolf. The headache stemmed from Anthony's lycanthropy, because comics, and the potions that Milo gave him unlocked the block that prevented him from transforming into his true self. So, if you suffer from constant headaches, like me, you could be a secret werewolf. Cool, alright, that's alright. Anthony wants to be cured of this, but Milo will only give it to him after he does one more thing, which is to kill Batman, of course. Apparently Milo had a run-in with Batman in a previous story, so this is his revenge. Anthony doesn't believe that Batman will be easy to trap in his werewolf form, but Milo counters that by suggesting that he uses human form instead. We then transition to Anthony, Bruce, and some dude named Amos working out at the YMCA. Anthony wants to do some weirdo tax break by donating to charity, but he wants to give the money to Batman so he can donate the money instead of him. I have no idea how any of this works, so if there are any accountants in the audience, I expect a thick essay in the comment section. Batman later shows up to Anthony's house to pick up the check, but he's almost immediately knocked out by some gas. A gas so strong that Batman straight up rips Anthony's shirt off. But it's a book done by Neil Adams and Dick Giordano, so men showing their hairy chest is part of the experience. Milo and Anthony dump Batman's body at a construction site, the spot meant for Batman to have his fatal battle with the werewolf. Milo dangles the antidote in Anthony's face while he begs for a taste of it so he can keep a bit of his wild side at bay when he transforms again. But Milo denies him one last time because he wants Anthony to be as feral as possible when fighting Batman. Can I get irony for 100, Alex? Because once Anthony transforms into a werewolf, he murders Milo on account of him being more feral than usual. Batman wakes up from his drug-induced nap, but before he can plan his escape, Anthony shows up and lunges at Batman. At this point, Batman is still trying to figure out the connection between Lupus and the werewolf. World's greatest detective, my ass. In his defense, he was drugged up, but come on. After dodging the werewolf, Batman tries to unlock his chains with a bobby pin in his teeth. And he works very fast indeed, for the Cape Crusader has spent many hours, for many years, learning how to pick the most complicated locks with the most outlandish tools. His mouth? Okay. Now freed, Batman punches the werewolf in the face, before he can retaliate. Batman is ready to throw hands without holding back. Before Batman karate chops Lupus's neck, Lupus grabs his arm with one paw and with the other slashes Batman's chest. The fight rages on against man and monster, but Lupus gains the upper hand and tosses Batman, dislocating his shoulder in the process. You're 2 for 2, Batman, Jesus. Batman decides that the high ground will gain him an advantage, and despite only having the use of one arm, he does a swing kick on Lupus and scales the construction site at max speed. Batman thinks he's safe, but Lupus is waiting for him on the other side. His snarls intensify as he launches himself at Batman, but he's the goddamn Batman, so he kicks him back. Batman is angry, exhausted, and in great pain. He knows that he needs to end this now. Batman grabs a metal pipe and hurls it at Lupus, which impales him in the chest. Lupus for a moment ponders if he's gonna die, but he realizes that in this form, he can be killed easily. Then, this happens. God! Batman for the first time in this book does the smart thing and checks the body to see if he's dead. The rod is singed and twisted, but there's no sign of Lupus. Batman wonders if he's disintegrated or if he somehow survived near death. The story ends with Lupus being seen in Alaska. He now hunts timber wolves and extracts their blood in the hopes of creating a cure, but when the moon becomes full, he joins their pack and hunts. Moon of the Wolf is an okay Batman story, but at least the art by Neil Adams and Dick Giordano is legendary and heavy-chested as usual. Batman issue 255 is a 100-page book with 6 stories, and with the story being 19 pages, it just feels rushed. The story would have worked better as a 3 to 5 issue arc. Batman never finds out who Lupus is, we don't get the payoff that someone Bruce knows was the villain of the week, and the overall werewolf mystery is non-existent as everything is explained. The epilogue at the end shows that Lupus is alive and able to be used in future stories if there are any to tell, and there are a couple more stories featuring Lupus. Maybe next time I'll cover the rest of his appearances, but that means I'll talk about Gen Z's Countdown to Final Crisis, Titan's Beast World, and I'm not ready to touch that yet. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, smash that like button, we're bringing it back, and subscribe to the channel. If there are any topics you want me to cover, let me know in the comment section below. I'd like to thank my patrons, Leocrid, Retroroy, Hack13, Neosci, Burbsci, and the channel with the freakishly long name for supporting the channel. And for $1 a month, your name will show up right here on top of early access to new videos. Currently, on Patreon, I'm posting Resident Evil Monster Thirst post every other day, and soon I'll be posting a poll so that the patrons can vote on the next themed month. Love you guys, and shamalamoomoo.